The Nigerian Coffee Story, Episode 2, From an Adventure to a Venture. Let's begin with the question of whether you should take coffee for sleep's sake or for wake's sake. This argument would take forever, I know.
Brian Andres says she doesn't really like coffee but keeps drinking coffee to avoid her head hitting her desk when she falls asleep.
So I'm guessing that's for wake's sake. What about you? Would you drink coffee for sleep's sake or for wake's sake?
To stay awake.
I drink coffee to stay in between. Help me control my mood swing.
To stay awake. Because I'm a bit of an addict to coffee, so if I don't take coffee, like when I want to do stuff, especially in the morning, if I don't take coffee, I don't think I would be more efficient. So coffee keeps me awake.
Traditionally, it's supposed to keep you awake, but some coffee are just like sleeping medicine. I don't know. So I think it depends on the coffee, really. But I would just drink coffee because I want to drink coffee.
I'll take coffee because I want to stay awake and do some work.
I take coffee to stay awake.
Coffee to me is more like an addiction. I take it whenever I'm at work to just ease tension, not because I want to stay awake.
In the DNA of every coffee bean, there is a story, and some of them are not very exciting after all.
The very first attempt to ban coffee happened in Mecca. The year was 1511 and coffee was criticized for waking people up as it was believed to stimulate radical thinking. The governor thought it might unite his opposition. This idea was conceived due to the fact that some Sufi sects would often pass around a bowl of coffee at funerals to stay awake during prayers. Upon coffee's entrance into Italy in the 16th century, clergymen pressed for it to be banned and labeled it satanic. But Pope Clement VIII took a taste, declared it delicious, and even quipped that coffee should be baptized. Thus, on the strength of this papal blessing, coffee escaped another hate speech and coffee houses began germinating throughout Europe.
I don't care if you're the queen of France or a homeless man, it's all the same.
After Murat IV claimed the Ottoman throne in 1623, he quickly blacklisted coffee and set up a system of reasonable penalties. First-time coffee drinkers will be flogged, while second-time coffee drinkers are sewn into a leather bag and thrown into the waters of Bosphorus, turning coffee drinkers into tea bags and left to die.
Same old stars.
Sweden slashed coffee's throat in the year 1746, with the Swedish police also attacking coffee cups and dishes, breaking them into pieces. King Gustav III gave an order that all convicted murderers be made to drink coffee, while doctors monitored how long the cups of coffee would kill the convicts. Well, you guessed right. The convicts enjoyed every cup of coffee while the doctors were bored to death. In the year 1777, Frederick the Great of Prussia issued a manifesto claiming beer's superiority over coffee. He argued that coffee interfered with the country's beer consumption while hoping a royal statement will amputate the coffee's progressive stride. Frederick even went as far as trying to flatter the royalty by saying, "Your Majesty was brought up on beer."
So coffee came, coffee saw, and I guess coffee conquered. How did coffee really become a business in Nigeria?
Well, African coffees are known for their balance of body and acidity with sweet and sometimes winey flavors. The vibrant acidity ranges from sparkling to tart, often with floral and fruity elements in the aroma. Nigeria is one of the 26 countries that grow the coffee plant. In the year 2010, coffee consumption in Nigeria grew by 5%, partly because of the increasing presence of Nescafe mobile kiosks on the streets. Sometimes you see them outside nightclubs such as at the Fela Anikulapo's African Shrine. 37% of the Nigerian coffee market share is locked down by the instant coffee sector because most people in Nigeria prefer to just strip the coffee powder of its wrapper, toss it in a cup, and usher it down home. For this reason, Nestle holds more than 60% of the coffee market share in Nigeria.
It's not just you taking something inside a cup called coffee. We have organic coffee. We have healthy coffee. It's a coffee that helps you take care of your health gains. You understand? You necessarily don't, you're taking it just to improve your health. My name is Phil Ebegbuna.
Coffee skincare has been in existence very, very long time, but not that popular in our country here. I think I stumbled upon coffee skincare when I was browsing through the internet one day and I saw coffee scrub. And I was like, okay, I need to research on this more. So I went ahead, read more about it, and discovered that coffee is actually one of the richest plants in antioxidants, if not the richest, like on the bar high there. So an antioxidant is one of the greatest substance for skincare, healthy skin, because it protects your skin from all those sun damages, pollutants and all. So we take coffee together with some other plant-based plant ingredients, and we combine together to produce our skincare, highly effective, hydrating, nourishing. So yeah, we have our body range. We have the coffee soap, we have the coffee body oil, coffee scrubs, and the coffee butter. My name is Adesola Badamosi, founder of Coffee Skin Parts. So we focus on coffee-based skincare products. Everything we make is out of coffee, 100% natural and plant-based.
Most people are familiar with more the Italian ways of brewing coffee: espresso, cappuccino, frappuccino, macchiato, all those things. And that has sort of become the trend that the world has latched onto, even Starbucks. But they don't realize that there are other methods of brewing coffee. So as part of our sort of brand positioning, we want to focus on those other methods of brewing coffee, because coffee is so vast in its uses as well as its tastes, but people just get stuck with a profile. Now, what they don't realize is the cappuccino drinks and all these other Italian drinks, the beans are not from one particular origin. They are from different origins, different types of beans that have been blended together to create a taste for whatever brand's coffee you're drinking. So, for instance, Starbucks has a very keen taste that they've, obviously blended different beans from different parts of the world. So what we try to do at Meshai is to give you an opportunity to taste or to travel, whether it's within Nigeria, to different coffee farms, to taste what the earth there and the altitude and all those things that factor into the taste profile of those coffee beans. These brewing methods allow you to have those experiences. They refine the coffee, the way it's consumed. I often describe drinking a Chemex brew as the difference between if you're an alcohol drinker and you drink cognac, you drink Hennessy, you go and buy a Hennessy VS, and then somebody comes and offers you Hennessy Paradis. There's such a big difference in the refinement. You wouldn't put Coca-Cola or another chaser into the Hennessy Paradis, but it's almost incomplete to drink VS if you don't add Coke. So in a similar fashion, these brewing methods, here we have Siphon, we have the Hario V60, which is not represented today, and over there we have the Chemex. These are all devices that have been developed, some of them over 100 years ago, and different companies just find ways of sort of modifying their basic look and feel. But generally speaking, they're what you call brewing methods, ways that you can extract coffee flavor, the coffee taste profile from the coffee grinds to really enjoy the brew. That will be different from going to make something and then putting milk or sugar in it.
Ibrahim, who just spoke, is the founder of May Shai, a premium coffee entrepreneur in Lagos, Nigeria. In recent years, some of the old coffee plantations in Nigeria have been rehabilitated, with old coffee plants getting rejuvenated by simply decapping the plants to a height of about 1.5 meters. There have also been new techniques utilized for propagating Robusta plants, and more than 110 varietals of Arabica coffee plants are being tested on the Mambila Plateau in an effort to improve the country's coffee industry.
Somebody said in Nigeria alone we have coffee from 22 different states, although one of the things people don't really pay attention to is that there are different types of coffee, and generally speaking the one most people, the most popular of all of them is Arabica coffee. Now those tend to grow only in altitudes above 1,000 meters above sea level. Some will even tell you the best Arabica beans come from 3,000 meters above sea level and above. I personally like to collect beans from various parts of the world. Some of them are regions in Africa that are not necessarily Arabica, so like Robusta beans, for instance. So if you go to a place like Ivory Coast, some of the beans that come from Ivory Coast are Robusta. It's a bit more bitter, but if you like strong coffee, that's definitely a good place to go.
Let's now turn to the acting president of the National Coffee Association of Nigeria.
So we have come across a lot of things. So by organizing workshop, seminar for coffee farmers, exporters, processors, so to bring more enlightenment on consumption and production of coffee in Nigeria. It's part of our experience.
All right, sir. In the Nigerian market, the coffee market, how big is it?
Coffee market in Nigeria are not big now because of the low production. And the production is not actually low. It's only happen when the quality is not okay again. So the buyers are running away from Nigeria. But with help of the association, we have let them know that we started training our farmers, and they have turned to the normal level of production. Okay. So definitely the buyers are coming now. So they know that they will get a good quality from Nigerian coffee. So, you have to sun dry coffee coming from the farm and pack it when the rain is coming. But formerly people will just leave it. The rain will make it outside. So they don't care until maybe used to a week before dry. And the selling pattern. So now they are seeing a new technology about the shelling, because coffee is inside the pot. So it's part of it's along the processing we have a problem, but that one, so we have overcome that one.
New coffee plant cultivation and fertilization methods are also being established in Nigeria to improve the yield of the coffee plants, and the coffee marketing campaign strategy has begun showing positive results. Also, improving the overall quality has been the adoption of wet method processing of coffee cherry. Fitch Solutions published a report on Tuesday, the 18th of June 2019, where it declares Nigeria as, quote, one of our 5 coffee markets to watch in 2019 and beyond. Coffee's growth story in the country is being driven by low base effects, youth population, ongoing urbanization, and an emerging middle class. Interest in coffee consumption is developing but remains behind that of other hot drinks. This, coupled with weak consumer purchasing power, means that instant coffee as a route to consumers will remain dominant. The roots of the coffee culture are in place and multinational brands are starting to penetrate, but they will be a feature only in major cities. End quote. From homes to offices, the consumption of coffee has increased among Nigerians, blending into their lifestyles, particularly in urban centers. So, there have been just 2 coffee brands leading this drive. They are Nescafe and others. The others have been evidently non-existent for the last 30 years, thereby limiting the options of coffee consumers to just one choice, which inevitably made Nescafe a preferred brand in the coffee market.
According to a report by Nairametrics, the stronger Nescafe's grip is on Nigeria's coffee market, the more danger its dominance poses for the market. The report went further to call for a coffee war, which should disrupt the status quo. There's a need for a coffee war. For over 2 decades, Nescafe has enjoyed the advantage of being the market's first mover, and it has continued to monopolize the coffee business to an extent that the market could shake to its foundation if Nescafe sneezes at you. By 2020, consumption of coffee is projected to climb beyond the 1,000 tons mark, and Nescafe will account for most sales, if not all sales. Such control is unhealthy for the growth of the market, and it's time to loosen the grip of the nestled subsidiary and distribution in sales through a coffee war. Customers end up being winners in such wars, considering the advantages that come when brands battle for market share and the financial implications of having a monopoly. The growing consumption rate is creating an opportunity for small and medium-sized roasters to capture a larger market share and increase the revenue of the coffee market to the country's GDP. A competitive coffee market will boost local production as roasters will source for coffee beans within Nigeria. The lack of rivals has reduced the production output of coffee farmers, coupled with the fact that Nigeria isn't considered a force to be reckoned with among coffee exporters.
Government should help the farmers, because if you do not produce, there's nothing we process. They need to help the farmers. How they can help farmers is not only to give them cash, but to support the agency in charge of planting coffee, which is Cocoa Research Institute. So by supporting them, they will plant. If the farmers see the seedling in a free area, so they will produce more. Another area where they can support is that to bring in the buyer. The association have done that one, but the government too will need their support. So by getting a very good price, so it will encourage people. That's why the coffee price have rise up now. It has rise up now. The government, even though government too will benefit from it, because those are buying, those who want to export, they will pay their tax, they will pay their. So government will benefit from production of coffee. We are even though farming is a general work for every human being. Farming is a general work for every human being. Let's say you want to export coffee, you will get license, export license. If you want to buy coffee, you get buying agent license. That one is a very small money. It's not that, but to be a farmer, so just come, have a land, and started planting your coffee. Within 3 years, you started fruit, because the PGC is at Cocoa Research Institute. It's an advice for the young chefs. So within 3 years, we started fruit. So, and by 5 years, you get your money back, I'm sure. If you have 1,000 stand of coffee in 1 hectares of land, so it will yield better.
Nestle Nigeria inaugurates $11.4 million Milo liquid beverage plant. Same Nestle Nigeria has officially inaugurated its Milo ready-to-drink beverage production plant and has paid a sum of $7.1 billion to Starbucks for rights to sell coffee and products globally. Indeed, one can smell the aroma of a brewing coffee war. But I guess the question is, who will bell this cat?
Baby, dream your dream.
Princess is an energetic coffee drinker and an entrepreneur who is bent on making the coffee beans bleed some cool cash for her brand. So, could this be the... Not to worry.
With a coffee war in Nigeria, coffee farmers will abandon any coffee brand to venture for the more lucrative seeds. Farmers will also record a boost in demand, thereby causing an increase in the number of farm jobs to meet demands. From 5% in 2010, reports show that coffee intake is currently on the rise in Nigeria as it now stands at a whopping 51%. Surely it's a good time for new entrants to make their way into the market. or for existing players like Cafe Neo and Caldi Africa to consolidate in order to strengthen their capabilities and better compete against Nescafe. Operating as lone wolves against Nescafe in the market will only tame their growth further until they have nothing to offer their customers. Coffee shops are springing up in Lagos, Nigeria, predominantly in Victoria Island.
The land is green, it's green, can't you see? I can see all the harvest is ready, 'cause he told me so. It's green and it's all mine.
So, do you want to play in the coffee game much? Do you want to fight in the coffee war? I guess it's about time to explore the opportunities that awaits you. Oh well, this is how our favorite Nigerian coffee bean became a business venture from being just a social adventure. And rumors have it that the only cool money is the one made from selling coffee beans. Alright, I just made that up. In the next episode, we shall take you back to the coffee festival where everyone that matters within the Nigerian coffee story industry would begin to open up some kind of worms that will be served hot.